In this video, I'm sharing 9 things I learned from my human design. If you went down the human design rabbit hole, then you already know the basics, but if you're new, I added some resources below to help you learn more. I recommend this book right here, A Modern Guide to Human Design, How to Read Your Chart and Align with Your Life's True Purpose by Rachel Lieberman. It'll save you the trouble of watching 30 plus videos. It was easy to understand, and I wish I found this before I started doing all the research. So I'm a numerology and astrology nerd, but I'm new to human design. I watched my first video from Amanda Horvath in January. I don't know how it came on my feed, but that's all it took for me to go down the rabbit hole on YouTube and Pinterest. This video was about business marketing, which was my weakness, and after researching, it finally clicked. All the struggles, experimenting, and trial and error. For the past few years, it's been burnout from marketing, and this is before I thought about repurposing. I was on every platform, even my least favorite ones like Instagram and Facebook, or applying to jobs on LinkedIn and Upwork, sending out proposals and making the first initiation. Those led to interviews, but it also led to burnout from having 3 to 4 one-hour interviews in a day and then getting ghosted. Also, the anxiety from saying yes to something when people-pleasing Marge really wanted to say no. From the experimenting, which is not so much a bad thing because it was the best way to learn, but trying to follow someone else's path because they found success when I should have just stayed in my own lane. And then energy-wise, I found myself in roles I hated, like working at call centers or being a sales rep and thinking I have to do the same thing as a freelancer with cold calls and emails. And then with all of these, the questioning starts to happen. Like, what am I doing wrong and why is nothing working out for me? But after doing a deep dive, it all makes sense. First thing I learned was the type. So as a projector, the natural guide and leader, which also works for me as a life path 1, we're also problem solvers and always focused on the big picture. So focus and save energy on learning or studying, working smarter, not harder, which doesn't help if you're hourly, simplifying and automating processes, creating repeatable workflows, researching, summarizing, and organizing. So doing all those and actually enjoying them means I should be looking for roles as an analyst, whether it's business analyst, systems, or research analyst, or even project manager. For freelancing, so creating productized services and VIP days worked best for me. So no proposals, no cold outreach, no talking about pricing since everything's listed on my sales page, and no surprises. Second thing I learned is the profile. I'm a 3-5 profile. You find the profile here, the 3 here, and the 5 under design. So the 3-5 profile is the resilient problem solver. So I learned through experiences and then I share the solutions. The line 3 is the conscious side. So the martyr, the trial and error, the experimenting and finding better ways to do something. An example of this is this channel. When I was frustrated with not finding the answer to something, I figured it out and then I posted a solution. Another example is studying and failing or passing tech certs, then coming up with and sharing a study plan or resources guide with followers. The line 5 is the unconscious side. So I share the solutions, but also try to be the fixer of everything. Next is the definition, and with split, there's a disconnect from the head and ajna here from the rest of the body. And with this definition, I need to connect with others to bridge the gap. So in my micro habits video, I talked about how I want to add third spaces to my routine. The reason is to connect with others like I did before COVID happened. So there was lots of brainstorming ideas that came from those connections I made. For inner authority, mine is emotional and solar plexus. So the goal here is to listen to my gut. So in my experience, making quick decisions usually comes with regret. So with that info, if it's not a hell yes, then I give myself some time to sleep on it and feel the feels before I decide. The next one is strategy, and this is wait for the invitation and recognition. So learning about my strategy made things click for me. My marketing strategy now is strictly inbound marketing. So all I have to do is be visible, and I do that with my content, whether it's through YouTube, which is my main platform, the blog, or Pinterest. My goal is to make it easy for folks to find me. So no sliding into DMs or cold calls or being on multiple platforms so I don't burn out. When it comes to employment or freelancing, for me, it's always been word of mouth or someone else making the contact first. And when I did the opposite of that, this led to the next thing, which is my not self theme, bitterness. So when things don't go right or I'm not recognized, I turn into a bitter mofo. So if this happens, this means that I need to go back to my strategy, which is waiting for invites. So a quick run through of the other things I learned. My individual channel, which is the 2838, and that's struggle and purpose, which is from gate 28 to gate 38. And I've always wondered why I was always on the struggle bus. Now I just go with the flow because it's part of the journey. The same thing with right angle cross of the unexpected. Things never go as planned, so I expect the unexpected, which is usually why I have a backup plan to my backup plan, just in case shit hits the fan. For defined channels and centers, these are the shaded areas, and this is the energy I have at all times. So for gate 7 and gate 31, which connects the G center and the throat center, this is the channel about leadership. And a bad habit of mine is staying behind the scenes because of fear of rejection or failure, so I'm working on taking the lead. For gate 41, which is the root center, this connects to gate 30, which is the solar plexus, and this is the channel of recognition, so recognizing and using my emotions as fuel to be creative. If you get your chart from pure generators, there are other things about your personality, like determination, cognition, environment, motivation, and perspective. My need is my motivation in life and work, so to be fulfilled, I need to focus and work on what needs to be done at the moment for myself and others. So this helps me avoid all the distractions. My cognition is outer vision, so I learn best through visuals and use visuals to share my thoughts and ideas. For determination, mine is high sound, so I need sounds and music like instrumentals to focus and for clarity. My perspective is wanting, so I find the gaps or what's lacking in a situation, environment, or system, and then I figure out how to reach a desired goal, and then I take action. And this comes in handy for my personal projects and professional projects. So I'm always moving forward and looking for a better way to do something. And lastly, my environment is kitchen, which goes back to the third places and needing to connect with others. So knowing all this info, the top things I need to focus on or do are taking the lead and being a guide, being patient and holding off on making quick decisions, finding a space to collab with others, waiting for the right invites. But instead of waiting, I'm preparing and expecting the invites, and then focus on personal growth and continuous learning. If you have your body graph, let me know in the comments what you learned from yours.